Welcome to your Rally Point podcast. Organizations need a reason to exist, and people need a reason to care, but none of it matters if you can't connect the two. This podcast is where nonprofits, advocacy groups, and mission-driven organizations discover their rallying point. It is your go-to resource for mobilizing support, building authentic connections, and driving real results. So grab your coffee, get comfortable, and let's rally together to create the impact you're meant to make. This is your Rally Point podcast, brought to you by rallycorp.com.
Hi there, I'm James with your Rally Point podcast. Back today with Lynne Wester.
Hi,
how are you, Lynne?
I'm doing
with
really
the donor. That's great. With the donor relations group. So I've been following you on LinkedIn. I feel like a stalker, Lynne, because I know I may have met you online in an event or maybe even at person, but I've been reading your stuff and following you. So I think I know you. But then I got on the camera today and I'm like, have we actually ever met? I don't know. Maybe not.
It's a good question. The world is large and small all at the same time, thanks to
Yeah.
technology, and just you can feel very connected to someone even though you might not have met them in person.
Isn't that the truth? Which is a beautiful thing. But I think one of my missions on LinkedIn is to actually meet real people and have real conversations and then share those conversations with others, which is what we're going to do today. So Lynne, tell me a little bit about your background, your journey, the work that you do. We'll just take it from the top and let's just let it flow.
Sure. So 15 years ago, I started the donor relations group. I was working in higher ed fundraising in donor relations. I had a previous career at Walt Disney World. I worked in VIP experiences, worked in Imagineering, just cultivating great guest experiences, and went back to graduate school to get my first master's. And a professor in class said, "Hey, you'd be really good in development." And I said, "I don't like real estate," because I had no clue that development or nonprofit work was a real estate thing. Not sure that it is, and not sure that what I want to be, but I found my calling in giving gratitude and impact to people that are so generous. So I've been doing that now for 25 years. As I head into 2026, I have a team of folks that work with nonprofits, large and small, and half of our time is spent teaching the fine art of gratitude and donor relations, and half of our time is
Powerful.
spent with clients, helping them when opportunity arise. So really trying to help people build great donor experiences that will lead to retention, and so that we can do more good in the world.
I love it. So donor relations group is all about a lot of things, but it sounds like gratitude is the core.
Gratitude is the core. We specialize in donor relations, communications, and events. So really almost everything but the ask. We let our friends that are really great at ask shine in that department. And our goal is to help keep and retain donors and grow their giving.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I love that you have the word relations right in the middle of your name and that your core is gratitude because I don't think you can have much of a relationship if you don't have some level of gratitude.
It's interesting. So I learned gratitude from my parents, specifically my mom. She made me write handwritten thank you notes for every gift I ever got before I could play with it. So including Santa
That's
Claus
amazing.
at Christmas.
Way to go, mom.
Yep, she taught me the attitude of gratitude. But it is, James, it's interesting. As I travel around the world and preach that attitude of gratitude, sometimes I have to remind people of the importance of gratitude, and that the solicitation or the ask is less than 1% of the behavior we do to build relationships. But I still get questions like, do I have to send an extra thank you note? I mean, stamps are expensive. Or, well, the donor only gave $10. Why should I thank them? And I'm like,
Yeah.
because only 60% of people are generous, and we should encourage generosity. And also, maybe if we can't thank, we don't need to keep the gift? Question mark. It's always surprising to me how many people question, oh, we should thank donors. We should thank them multiple times. Is this a good thing? And I'm like, but they did a good thing.
Yeah, you preach it. I love it. That's actually, it's powerful because the attitude of gratitude, even if it's a small thing, I started this practice in, you know, um, years ago of even just like thinking the hotel room and it sounds so cheesy, but like if I'm leaving a space, I want to thank the space for its service. And it has nothing to do with the space. It's not like the space is gonna say, "Oh, you're welcome." That would be amazing.
Yeah,
Never had
right.
a couch never had a couch thank
I
me
was
back.
gonna say, just wait, AI.
I know someday maybe my refrigerator's now starting to talk to me. That's a whole nother conversation. But what I have found is if I leave the hotel room as an example at a conference or something with attitude of gratitude, and then I bump into a stranger in the hallway or even somebody I may know at a conference, my automatic disposition is one of gratitude. It's just like it's a deep, it just like oozes out of me. And it's because I've sat that intention with something that's so mundane and silly as a gratitude of the facility, the place I've been staying, you know?
It's not silly. Experts will tell you, people with far more education and study in this will tell you it raises your serotonin and your dopamine level. People who are grateful live longer, just like people who are generous.
I
They,
know.
read Adam Grant's book, Give and Take. There's 2 kinds of people in the world, those that give and those that take, and the givers are the most successful people in the world, and the takers will always never achieve that level of success because they're concerned about what's in it for them, and we work in the land of generosity. People who make sacrificial gifts of their time, their talent, and their treasure to help other people, the environment, animals, whatever the cause may be. And for us, gratitude needs to be part of who we are, not
Mhm.
just it's a task I need to check off my to-do list.
That makes sense. Not a task that you have to take off your to-do list. I love that. And the idea is that it's because you even mentioned like, do I need to think of a $10 donor as an example? But it's maybe it's less about the gift itself or even that donor as it is the mindset of the development person who needs to go out and make that next ask, who make, maybe it's 1,000 next time or 10,000, right?
Maybe it's a million or 10 million, but very rarely do gifts start at $10 million. If we take the story of Michael Bloomberg, who I have been fortunate enough to meet a couple of times, he talks about that his first gift to Johns Hopkins was $5, the year after he graduated. He's now given them over $7 billion with a B. But if they had not been grateful for his $5 gift, he would never have given them the 7 billion. And I think
It's
sometimes
amazing.
we forget that sacrifice is relative. The wealthy tend to give less proportionately. And in America, those beneath the poverty line actually give larger percentages of their worth away. And tests and studies prove that, you give, for example, a person who might be unhoused or on tough times, you give them a sandwich, they will split that sandwich in half and give it to someone else who has need as well. And I think what's changed in acknowledgments and thanking donors is we used to thank donors for their gifts. One of the things I'm trying to teach and one of the things we're trying to instill in our nonprofit behavior is thank the donor for who they are, their generosity, their sacrifice, their belief in another human being, an animal, your organization is what we need to reward, not the actual dollar amount. Because you and
Yeah.
I have both seen times where somebody gave $10 a year for 20 years, they pass away, they leave $7 million in there.
Yep.
And people are like, "Well, no idea." I'm like, "Yes, you did. They gave loyally and consistently over time. They just didn't give enough for you to pay attention to."
Yeah, and what a missed opportunity, and it's really a mindset of the gratitude to go out into space. I'm reminded of the parable, you mentioned the small gift, but the idea of the widow that gave just very little, and the scribe that was just making a big to-do about it all. I mean, the greater gift was the one that gave the least because it was the bigger impact, right?
Absolutely, and also is a greater percentage, it's a greater sacrifice,
It is.
we tend to chase money sometimes and not the root of it, which is
Mm,
generosity. And so how we value that is important. I walk into organizations and say, "Oh, well, for $50 we do this, but for 5,000 we do all of this." And I'm like, "But proportionately, which is a bigger sacrifice?"
yeah,
I can tell you that I'd rather have a donor who's loyal to my organization for 40 years than one donor who walks in the door, drops a big check and says, "Now I want this, 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 and this."
yeah. They pull
So
you around by their nose.
exactly, the relationships matter, and that's why fundraising is really about relationship, not about money.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I love it. Lynn, is there, I love, I think I read something that you had said once about, we're really human beings, not human doings. It's not what we do. really. It's who we are and the essence of our humanness, right? Which is, a disposition of gratitude and love at the end of the day, right?
Absolutely, which is why when we institutionalize those concepts into like major gifts or annual giving, I don't have many generous people. I've met thousands of donors to meet tons of generous. Never did something more proud say I'm a major.
Yeah.
Oh, I try to be as generous as I can, or doing what I can to help. And I really, we also need that in our industry and think about we don't thank the donor for their money, we thank them for who they are as a being, not what they've done.
Yeah. No, and if somebody comes in with a name tag that says major donor, I think I would run.
I would run far and fast humanly possible away from that person. Because and
They have received the reward. That's it. That's all you get is the
good
name
for
tag.
you, sir or ma'am, but, not somebody I wanna hang out with and have a meaningful conversation.
I love it. And it's so interesting. I have really worked over the years, I'm trying to think about like how do we convey this sense of being? Because it's true for us in our jobs, like the amount of grace that we have to extend ourselves because we're doing hard work fundraising. It's not an easy task. I mean, it can be very uncomfortable and sometimes, you get a lot of no's before you get a yes, right? Um
Yes, and you
so
have to hold on to the inspiration that is generous people, in my belief. This year, 2025 has been a hard year for a lot of folks,
mhm.
numerous ways, and, I know they say that they don't give you more than you can handle, but some days you're like, "Oh boy, I'm hanging on."
I didn't know I could handle this much.
Right. I was doing a National Philanthropy Day keynote, and I was reminding both the crowd and myself that for a lot of people, nonprofits represent hope. We
Yeah,
are the hope of a community when some of our institutions may not be working the way we want them to, or the world may not be ideal. The hope is that we help each other. The small acts of generosity. It's the neighbor putting out snacks for the delivery driver. It's the when benefit in one area, a food pantry at the neighborhood. It's all the way it's my parents who, said, "You know what? We're gonna give a little bit extra this year. We may not have ham for Christmas. We'll do something more affordable so we can just give that little extra because there's
mhm,
somebody that may not even have anything on their table."
yeah. I love that. And the story that you shared about sharing your sandwich, I've seen that firsthand in some of the work that I've done here in San Diego with some of the populations that we work with our nonprofit, and it's just amazing that just simple little things like we take some clothes or a jacket, a group of a bundle of jackets out to the group of folks, and they'll they'll sort through it and take care of their family and their people that are their community. It's the people that they're with. Like it's just this and you think, man, it was such a small thing that I took for granted. And it means a lot.
Right. Because
It's human to human.
absolutely, because people identify their community however they wish, not in,
Sure.
verticals that some, institution has defined for them. And I think for a lot of us, we take care of our community first. It's why, for us as a company, you can access 15,000 samples on our website for free. Our webinars
Sure.
are 25, $60. So, if you are a nonprofit that raises less than $2 million, you have grants. Like we work hard to make sure that our community is taken care of.
Absolutely.
Nonprofit professionals, we're spending time in AFP chapters working with them. I say all the time, I get approached all the time by industry partners, vendors, software companies, and I'm like, I have three simple rules. Number one, your software or your product has to be good and it has to work.
Yep.
You'd
That's a no good. That's a
be
no-brainer.
shocked. You'd be shocked.
Yeah.
Number two, I don't work with assholes or no assholes.
Yeah. Yeah. Zero hassle policy. I love that policy.
Zero asshole
Yeah.
policy. And number three, you have to give back to the nonprofit community. You cannot come in
Yeah.
here and run a for-profit business, which I do as well, and take and take and take because
Let's give.
we will root you out. Number one, of those of us who have been around a while will root you out. And number two, we are givers. I can't tell you how many nonprofit people also volunteer. They do work in their own communities, and you can't come in and be like profit over everything and not that here, we need a speaker to come in, or here's a sponsorship for your conference. So somebody who can't afford it can go. You can't just come in here and take advantage of us. Get, so we get our hack stuff about it. And so we all have to be in this community that we be into together.
And Lynn, we could smell those people a mile away. I don't know about you, but I can sense insincerity, like it's just, and nothing irks me more than being with someone. You're like, oh, let's talk partnership. And
Mhm.
partnerships like take, take, take. What they want is leverage
They want
to the
leverage.
market. They want to take our hard work of our audience and the work that we've done and the relationships that we've built, and they want to monetize it.
Yep, and not just the relationships we built, the trust that we
Yeah, there you
have
go.
have built over years. I have people who have approached me a whole life and said, I'll give you $100,000 for your list." And I'm like, "It's not for sale. It's not
Yeah,
for rent. It's not anything. You have to earn these
yeah.
folks' trust." And even
Create value.
yeah, and even when I do partnerships, I say, "Okay, guys, thanks for attending. If you wanna contact this company, here's their email address, you reach out." It's always a
Sure.
consent process for
100%.
people, and you're right, they wanna leverage something that frankly I sacrificed for 7 years. I traveled 300 nights a year for 7 years. I didn't have
Whoa,
yeah,
300 nights a year? Are
300
you serious?
for 7 years I did it. I was in Singapore one day, England the next. I don't have any regrets, but I
Lynn, that's
sacrificed.
amazing.
Yeah, I
That's crazy.
sacrificed having relationships and a
Yeah,
life and hobbies, and you wanna come in and say, "Well, I'm just gonna take that. Thank you very much, and here's some money." Well, money isn't it,
yeah, we don't care about the money.
right? Like, if I cared about the money, I wouldn't be in nonprofit world, right?
Exactly.
I'd
That's right.
doing something, but
Yeah.
not
And
this.
what's sad about, and I know we come out I'm sorry, you just struck a
Tangent.
nerve with me because it's a pet peeve of mine. But one of the things that makes it so difficult is it's not hard to do a good job. Like there's so much crappy software and systems and promises out there. Like all you have to do is show up and do the work.
Be a good
And
host.
you're 90% of the, I mean, you're already there.
But we
Like
have
it's not create value.
yeah, James, we have people who charge for customer service with their software, and I'm like, help
Hello.
me understand how it's not my fault that your software is not working, but you want me to pay to get help,
Mhm.
or if I don't have the big package, I have to wait in line, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that goes against my big ever-loving Disney heart, where it doesn't matter if you're spending 1 day at Disney or you're spending a VIP tour, you deserve the same experience. So
Yeah.
I think what we're sensing from that is that these aren't people in our community. They're people like, there's advantage to try to take advantage of every. And so I think um, what we have to do is hold tight to our authenticity and
Mhm.
hold tight to valuing over one of the opportunities I think we have in nonprofit fundraising is codifying the profession, making sure people respect it. We would have a lot fewer board members who say, "Well, let's just throw a gala or a golf tournament," or "It's easy to fundraise," because they don't understand what the complexity of it is. Versus I don't walk into my board member's surgical suite and say, "I'm just gonna replace this part real quick.
Yeah,
It'll be." So I think we have an opportunity to further
we do.
support that. And it's both a and a science. And so more we can other up in that community and say, "This is my vocation and my profession."
Yeah. I do this all day, every day, and I'm a professional.
Yes. Yes, I'm not a beggar. I'm not gonna take your wallet. Like, I don't on planes, they're like, "What do you do?" I'm like, it's fine. I'm not getting into that because you're gonna think, like, this is a profession, and I'm proud of it. I love it."
Yeah, and you should be proud of it. Anybody listening that are in this line of work should be proud because here's the thing. At the end of the day, you're creating a pathway to gratitude and hope, like you said, a beacon of hope or a light of hope or, the essence of hope. So I think at the end of the day, our world needs a lot of really good people with really good energy caring for others or, the environment or animals or whatever, right?
Whatever they
And
do.
whatever you're called to do it with everything you got and recognize that that energy is offsetting so much of the other negativity, the hatred, the isolation, the pride, like the things that we have to offer creates such an opportunity that we can level that up with professionalism and just makes it sustainable.
Yeah, and I believe in the work that we do and the people that do it so much that part of my role is to say we do have a voice and we do, we are valued even at your most tired, your most crispy, your hardest days, that's okay because 'cause we're all counting on each other, but there is more good than bad. I have to believe that.
Yeah,
Um,
I
you know,
agree.
a lot of people are, I have positive people in my life. I have Debbie Downers. I'm Rhonda realistic, my new persona. I'm not realistic. I realize the struggle and I acknowledge it, especially for those that are underrepresented, those that don't have the privilege that I have in my life. I'm a second generation college graduate with advanced degrees. I grew up in comfort, never wanting, I wanted a lot of things out of the Sears at Christmas time, but I grew up with great privilege. So how do I help others who may be struggling by acknowledging that and then saying,
Yeah,
and let's move forward together? How can I use my
yeah.
privilege to vote and to move other people forward, not just myself?
I love that. And it's really is about relationship. And what I think that you mentioned your mom earlier and the ability to, or how she had you sit down and write gratitude cards. Like that is the greatest gift. I
Oh,
mean, I don't care. I know folks that come from wealth that had parents that just ignored them.
yeah.
Like I don't, I'll take the present parent that teaches skills like that over anything else.
She
Hands
taught
down.
me a lot of skills. Dad taught me a lot of skills. I think I'm so grateful. I'm now raising my parents. They're 87 and 89, so I get the reverse. I have 2 feisty toddlers, as I call them.
That's amazing.
But
In
I
their
do.
80s, you said?
Yeah,
87?
they're in their
That's
late
amazing.
80s. Dad hits 90 next year, but, I'm
Wow.
grateful for the core values they instilled in me, things like critical thinking, problem solving, curiosity, because in our industry, I can teach you how to do the job. I really can. I believe that I can teach almost anyone. Most people are coachable, most people wanna do the right thing, but I can't teach who you are as a person, your core values of gratitude, curiosity, problem solving, really being strategic and thinking about the future, not just putting your head down and doing the work. And that helps keep people going, right?
Yeah.
That's the energy, keeping energy going.
Yeah, no, I love it. So when you think that, I absolutely am grateful for that. That's a good reminder and a good think because, like you mentioned, sometimes we just got to keep the energy going and keep moving forward. So
One
keep
foot in
pulling, and
front of
that's
the
not
other.
that's not always willpower. It comes from something deeper than that.
Grit.
Um, Grit. That's right. So as you think about your career and the work that you've done over the years, what is something that you feel like something that you're looking back on now, you're like, "Man, that is so I got it. Like, I finally figured it out." And some things, Lynn, I know are caught and some things are taught. But if you had to say something now and maybe plant a seed in someone's mind that down the road they go like, "Oh, that's what Lynn meant." What would that be?
I think for me, I had a big, I'm the kind of person that learns by doing, and most of that is
Yeah.
learning through my mistakes.
Yep.
I've loved embracing risk and failing up or failing to the side or just failing some days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but for me, I think the biggest thing that was like, "I've got it," was when I learned how to I'm a high achiever, have been my whole life. Those have been my expectations, for my parents, for me. But also, I think when I was vulnerable enough to say, "I don't have the answer," or "I need some
Yeah. I need help. Yeah.
whew,
That was hard.
that was a big turn. My friend who was also at the time my supervisor got me an executive coach as a gift, and it's kind of like my mom gave me the gift of gratitude. It was one of the best gifts I've ever been given. I'm kind of like a dog with a big tail. I get so excited about things. I'm so direct. I will knock over a lamp and not even know it with the best of intentions. And
Yeah.
so being able to say, I really did try and putting that grace towards everyone, not just everyone else, but myself.
Yeah.
That one, and then stop giving a hoot about what people think of you.
Yeah. Nobody cares. Everybody's thinking about themselves. They're not thinking about you.
I used to cry. I used to read speaking reviews and cry because people say ugly things.
Yeah, they're
You know?
mean.
They're mean, and I'm like, now I'm like, I'm sorry you're having a bad day. That sounds like a you problem.
That it is a you problem. That is them. It's not you.
Like, maybe you should have stayed in the hotel room and watched some Netflix instead of coming down to this session because we're gonna
Yeah.
have a good time and you're gonna
Yeah.
learn and it's gonna be awesome. And yeah, there's gonna be some inappropriate humor, but you'll get over it.
Yeah.
Really will.
And Lynn, here's what I've learned about leadership. If you get off the bench, you're going to get tackled. So if you want to be out in the front, you're going to get negative. And honestly, if you're not saying anything, if people aren't disagreeing with you, then you're not probably saying anything in the first
You're
place.
just mumbling. My dad always says arrows are shot from behind. So same thing about getting off the bench,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I would go to him and I would cry and I'd be like, read this review. And he'd go, well, you tell me how they feel when they get up in front of 200 people
Yeah.
and have the gumption to speak in
Yeah.
front of 200 people, then they can give me their critique. And I was like,
And they probably never done it. And,
and
I
they
don't mean to be mean.
then
Yeah.
they
I don't
have
mean to be mean.
they're just all the world's a food critic until you make a dish and cook
Yeah.
it and you realize what the energy that
Yeah.
you're pouring into that.
It
So
is. It's hard.
I
Yeah.
try to
I love
pour
that.
that energy, that good energy into others and say, hey, sometimes you just gotta go for it, even at the
Yeah.
risk of your own worldview, but you're right. If you're not saying something that people criticize, then maybe that's a
It's probably mumbling.
yeah, you're probably mumbling like a Peanuts character. Wah, 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 wah.
Won't, won't, won't. That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. And my wife and I worked for nonprofits for years. My wife is like, she would say, I'm so tired of the cocktail party having to apologize for the work that I do. It's like, oh, that's cute. It's
Yeah.
just like it's not. I do important work. Like this is like, stop apologizing for your work. Like you are not less than.
And
Yeah. Don't be.
sometimes
Yeah.
people will be like, oh, so like, I'm like, yeah, so I closed a gift of $401 million, and helped work on that last month. What did you do?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I work with a nonprofit that has $1 billion budget. What did you do? I'm
Yeah.
just unapologetic about it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Cute.
Yeah, and that's critical because it's we take on so much of the world, like thinking that people are looking to us, but honestly, we're just reflecting back to them the things they might not even like about themselves. And there's grace
Yeah.
there's grace in that. People have bad days,
That's
like
it. Everybody, grace is something that I have learned to give more for myself, but also
yeah.
others, but also myself too.
Well, I also have a no asshole policy, but I have to admit, Lynn, there's been a couple of times if you cut me off in traffic, you're going to get an asshole. So,
Well,
and
that
I have to be reminded, and I'm like, you know what? Grace to myself, and then down the road, I'll be like,
well,
I need to apologize to that person.
that
Wish I could buy him a coffee.
that might have been earned behavior because sometimes people are so rolled up in themselves that they forget
Yep,
that other people are out there. So,
we do.
recent
We
example,
do.
I went to the States and I asked my friend Clay to take me to Trader Joe's because, of course, we don't have one where I live, blah, blah, blah. And a woman basically kind of rammed her cart into the side of him almost. And I said,
Oh no.
if you
Yeah.
give him just a minute, he's going to get the spices and then we'll be out of your hair. And she said, I don't know what you're talking about. I can wait. I can wait. And I was like, well, your cart
Yeah.
is literally physically touching his body.
Yeah.
So a little space.
People just don't realize.
Right.
Yeah.
And it kind of shook her out of her own worldview.
Yeah.
And Clay was like, that was epic. And I'm like, well, can she not put the cart like near your rear so close? Like, what is going on? Like,
If you can wait a second.
and so, yeah. So I will tell you, my asshole policy is this. You can mess with me all day long. I'm a big girl. I'm an Enneagram 8. I can handle it, but don't mess with my people.
Yeah, don't mess with my community. I love
Do
it.
not. You will see
Mama bear coming
Mama
out.
Bear. I don't have kids, but boy, do I.
Well, I do. Our
And
customers and clients for
don't
sure.
poke the bear because you will get the bad end of that deal every time because
I love
then
it.
I'll turn it into a game of Survivor, outwit, outplay, outlast, and I'll come up with creative things.
Yeah.
So
And I think that's where gratitude comes back into the conversation is because if I have learned that if I start out with a moment of gratitude in the morning and slow down and have some grace for myself, then it is so much easier to have me grace for someone else. I live in this area of San Diego where it's a nightmare on the highway, just
I
right
can
outside
only imagine.
where I get on off the highway. And I have to like literally calm down to get on the road. Like I will not
I'm not
I
doing
will
it.
love. I will be kind.
Yeah.
Because I'm not about to get on a podcast to talk about love and then tear the guy up who cut me off. Like, that's not right.
I love getting angry on the highway. And unfortunately, you never know what somebody's carrying with them. That's the one big
Yeah,
thing I try to remind myself.
true.
You never know if
You never
somebody's
know.
rushing to their dying
Yeah,
family member's side, or
what they're dealing
if
with.
somebody was mean to them this morning and it was the last
Yeah,
straw. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
tried really hard.
People are
And then if
hurting.
you go out again, you just run into an asshole. So you have to,
Yeah,
and my philosophy is you're not going to out asshole me. So
yeah,
and you're not going to treat people poorly in my presence. So
yeah. I agree.
it's going to get interesting.
Well, people, yeah, no, I love it, and I kind of want to get seats to that ringside. I think that'll be a lot of fun. But also, I would have a hard time not jumping in and helping you
Well,
because I've got your back.
exactly.
So we
Like,
might
right, right. And
we might both be wearing county orange
no,
jumpsuits at some point.
no, 'cause I do it with words. You don't have
Oh, do I? Okay, there you go.
to
Well, I don't know.
level
You're
someone with words.
That's so funny.
Something
Well,
I'm
hey, we can. I so appreciate the conversation. When we can wrap things up, I'd love to know a bit more about like how do people find you? Like
sure.
what's a good place to start to learn
We
more about
try to
what
make it
learn?
easy, donorrelations.com. You just type it in there. I Google search. You can find me on LinkedIn, on social media, but also, we have tons of samples. We have tons of free education and other types of education for you, but we're here to help. So reach out to us, info@donorrelations.com. You know, sometimes we all just need a community. And so I'm here in community. If you want to talk about your donors, your donor experience, you can find us easily and come with open arms and
Yeah.
mindset towards everyone.
And I keep a short list, Lynn, of folks that I like to follow and learn from, not just because the content's good, but because the energy is good. And I think that sometimes we become the sum of the whole of our parts of everybody we're around, right? So if
Agreed.
there's 5, 10, 15, 20 people that I'm absorbing, I can become like them. So I look up to people in the market that are doing good and worthy work, that I like their attitude, I like their gratitude, and I
Same.
just want to be around those people.
Yep.
And maybe you can teach this old guy something new. So that'd
Oh,
be
we
great.
we all have something to learn, right? We all have
It's amazing.
every day. Thank you so much, James, for having me. And anything you need, just let us know.
All right, Lynn. Great. Thanks for your time. I'm James with your Rally Point podcast from Rally Corps, and thanks again for being there. And Lynn, I will put some links in the show notes or whatever you call that down below
Thank you.
to your
Yeah.
website. All right,
Thank
everybody, have a great day.
Thank you.